Hey y'all, this is Dr. Aaliyah, and it's another episode of And I Should Care Because, the podcast where we talk about higher education changes, and I help you navigate those changes one news story at a time. So always make sure that you check the description box to see the inspiration for today's topic and any other resources or goodies that are relevant to the topic. So don't forget about that. And do the reading yourself. Don't always rely on me. I ain't trying to lie to y'all. But you should always read for yourself too. So that's why I include the link. Today's topic, we are talking about ACT and SAT scores and how there are lots of schools that are temporarily or permanently moving away from having them be a requirement for admission. So there was a little bit of a move towards this before the pandemic, but I feel like the pandemic really smashed the gas pedal down and accelerated the process because a lot of schools were getting rid of that requirement simply because you couldn't go take the test or it was really difficult, financially and everything else. And so instead of facing a class year where they couldn't fill the number of seats that they needed to fill, they at least wanted to have all the applicants that they needed to try to get the class, as they say in the business. So my question to you is, how do you feel about that? Some of you are in school right now and you had to take the ACT or the SAT and you're not getting the benefit of that. So maybe you feel like, man, if I didn't have to submit my scores, I could probably be at Harvard right now, And then some of you may say, well, I think that my scores are part of what helped me get in. So I'm sure there's a wide variety of feelings on this topic. But what I'm thinking about is, well, finances, man. When I was in high school, I think I was able to get some kind of a waiver for taking the SAT. But I don't know if those financial aid waivers still exist, and there may be fewer of them. But taking those exams is an expense, especially if you take an SAT and a subject test, and then you say, oh, I didn't do as well as I wanted to, so I want to try it again or something like that. That's money. And then we haven't even talked about test prep. So if you get a book or you take a class or something, that's money. But the other investment, aside from money, is time. So if you're already in school, trying to finish high school, or you're someone who is trying to go back to school, you don't have a whole lot of time. You could be working a full-time job, have a whole entire family, and you don't have time to study for an ACT or an SAT exam so that you can submit scores. That's just a lot. So I think that overall, this could help a lot of people because it means that you don't have to spend resources that are already scarce. Now, I know there are some arguments that say that, well, using test scores, we can kind of weed out folks that we don't think would do well so that they don't waste their money on school. And I agree with the idea that you want to make sure that the people who are getting in are going to do well, that they're going to get what they need and it's not going to be a waste of money. So I feel like there's, some, you could kind of argue it both ways, right? But I don't know that there's any one right answer. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. That's just what's happening, right? How does this affect you? So if you're already in school, sorry, bruh. You already paid the dollars to do the exam. That's just what it is. Better luck next time. However, if you're looking to apply, then maybe you haven't even made your list of schools that you want to apply to. While you're looking at schools and figuring that out, one of the things you should consider is whether or not they're test optional. Also consider, how good of a test taker are you? Some people get anxiety when it comes to taking standardized tests. I know I did. And I never did as well on a standardized test as I did on in-class exams and stuff like that. So my GPA was better than what my standardized test scores would reflect. Now, obviously, I still got into school and made it and did all the things. But I feel like for me personally, if I had the option to say, no, I don't think I'm going to submit scores, I probably would have done that. And I know that there's lots of other people like me who don't perform as well on standardized tests, not because they lack the intellectual ability, but it's just that they get nervous. And the psychology of test taking is real. So consider that when you're putting together your list. If you feel that you can showcase your best you without test scores, or that adding test scores would kind of like dilute your greatness in your application, then strongly consider not even taking the exam, because it's time and effort and resources that you can't get back that may do more harm than good for your overall application. However, if you're a really strong test taker, if you have the time and the available resources to take a class, or if you're self-directed and motivated to go through a book and kind of prepare yourself, then go for it. If you think it's going to show the best you, then do it. But what I don't want to happen is for you to feel like, well, if I don't take the exam, or if I don't do as well as I think I could have, that maybe I don't deserve to go to this school, or maybe I'm not as smart as I think, because that's not true. I felt that way when everyone was sharing their scores and stuff, and then, what did you get? What did you get? And I was like, I got by. I felt some type of way because I didn't do as well as I thought I would have. And it just is what it is. But it doesn't mean that you're not intelligent or smart, or that you're incapable of taking on new information and not only knowing that information, but applying that information. So it really doesn't speak to who you are. It speaks to a small sliver of who you are. So whether you opt to take those exams and submit scores or not, it doesn't have any bearing on who you are and what you have available to give to an institution to say, hey, yeah, I'm going to get a lot if I go here, but you're going to get a lot too. That's the purpose of the college application, to show that you're a good fit. And a good fit means that they have resources that you will greatly benefit from, but also that you will fit with the campus culture and what image they're trying to build and maintain at their school. So if you can show that you fit that culture and that you would do things to help push it forward, then it's a win. And if you can do that without test scores, save yourself the hassle. Don't feel a way about it. It's truly okay. Like I said, if I had that option, that would have been me. So with that, I'd like to know your thoughts. How did you feel when you took the ACT or the SAT? Did you feel like your scores were representative of your intellectual and academic abilities? Or do you feel like there was kind of a disconnect there? If you're thinking about applying to school in the next season, what are you thinking about? Do you want to take these exams? Do you want to just say, nah, I'm not going to do it, just apply to all the places that are test optional? What's making you feel that way? So share in the comments your stories, your questions, all the things. I like that. If this content was helpful for you, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing. It does your girl some help, and you can help somebody else, because you never know what they need. You never know what questions they have. As always, make it a great day. Make it a great day for you. Try to make it a great day for someone else. And I hope to see you back here soon.